Okay, 2010 Dog Night. We talked about the commitments and new offers. The thing I've noticed, and I think we can all speak on this, and Fletcher, we'll start with you. This group of 2011 kids has become pretty tight. Now, in recruiting, guys get to know one another, etc. These guys were hanging out, taking pictures. Yeah. All I had was a 500mm, so I didn't get the greatest shot of it. But they were seemed very tight.
And it seems like, each kid's family and parents were here, and it was like they were all they all meshed really well together. I don't know if you give credit to Facebook or Twitter or why they're so tight, but they're connected.
They seem to click.
They do.
To me, I think it comes from up top. Mark Richt wants a family-type atmosphere.
Well, he's got that.
And these kids buy into that. They want to be close. They want to be good friends. And that helps them be great teammates on the football field. I mean, you look at the offensive line, like the best of, DeBell's from out of state, but you look at the guys
but he's already, like they know one another.
I mean, he's been around Athens. They talked to him on Facebook. They've been calling each other. But you look at, Hunter, Watts, David, those guys are like three brothers. I mean, they're so tight, so close. Just all five-star players know, but that tightness, that kind of camaraderie will make them maybe a five-star unit down the road.
Well, okay, Christian LeMay, let's just start with him real quick. We'll zip through all the kids that went. Christian, I think, to me, he's still got to get a little bit bigger. We'll start there. What did you think about Christian?
I thought Christian looked really well throwing the ball, but like you said, I didn't think that. I thought he would be a little bit bigger, but that's going to come. Yeah. But he looked really good throwing the ball, and like I said earlier, I mean, he's already meshed with us, Justin Scott and Zach Witchett. They were all having a good time together.
I don't know that Justin Scott needs to get any bigger. What did you think about Christian LeMay?
I like Christian. The more I see him, the more I see more of a streaky quarterback. I'll see him zip 4 or 5 balls on the money, then maybe go through 2 or 3 flutters. Not tight spirals, a little bit behind the receiver. But learning timing is everything. Yeah. He went with Justin probably, I'd say 80% of the time, and he was on the money. But other guys, a little bit off. I think overall, a very good performance by Christian LeMay.
Justin Scott and Zach Witchett.
Zach is still very good, but I thought the best guy tonight was Justin Scott Wesley. I mean, Zach made some tough catches, more of a physical receiver. Justin showed that second gear, that burst to get separation.
To me, Justin is quite raw still.
Yeah. Yeah.
Am I wrong?
No. Well, I just couldn't stop thinking about who would win in the 100-yard dash. Justin Scott or Brandon Smith. Who do you got in that one?
I got Justin Scott right now. Who do you got?
Justin Scott.
He's explosive.
Maybe in the 40, I'd take Brandon Smith.
Brandon looks better too. Okay, David Andrews.
Just another typical performance by Boss. I mean, the guy comes to compete night in, night out. He doesn't care if he's committed, what offers he has, if his buddies are on the sideline. That guy wants to get better. He wants to learn. He wants to show UGA that he's here to stay and make a difference. I think, every time a kid like that, like a Marlo, we'll get to him in a second, comes out and competes every time, that really stays with me in my mind when it comes to rankings, projection down the road, all that kind of stuff. He's a fighter, man.
He reminds me, although the body is totally different, the attitude, although not maybe as visually explosive as Ben.
Yeah.
Now it's not as it's different.
I think Ben and David look similar now physically.
They do now.
Right now. Ben 3 years ago, a guy on the street.
Ben was a killer. He was there for a street fight.
The attitude is not there quite for Boss.
I like David Andrews. He's not Ben Jones. I get that.
I like Ben too, but I like Ben. I mean, Ben's Ben, David's David. Both of them get the job done. Both of them in that 6'2", 6'3", 290, range where they're ideal centers. They're smart. They can make the calls.
Ben will be playing. Ben will be playing in the NFL for a lot longer than people think he will. I'll say that.
Chance.
I say that. Zach DeBell. Did you see a lot of him tonight?
I did get to see a little bit of him tonight. He's a big kid, I was pretty impressed seeing him. It was the first time I've seen him in person. I saw him get beat a couple of times. He's going to have to continue, getting better. But another big body, it's not going to hurt on the offensive line.
He's going to have to progress physically.
Yeah, he's got to get that, I'd say 40 pounds. I mean, he's a lean 265 or so, but I mean, you can't ask for a better frame. He has broad shoulders, good hips. He's very strong, great length. I think that pass rush gets him a little bit, that slice if he has to the outside. He gets beat a lot. He has to stay on the inside of a defender. I think for him, though, I mean, the future, again, is very bright. Once he gets under Searles for a year or two, I mean, I still see all SEC potential.
Needs to add some mass. Marlo Herrera, I'll go first. The only thing I notice with the Marlo every time, and he's not the greatest in coverage necessarily, and that's fine.
Getting better.
Always first in line.
Yep.
Always first in line.
He is, and I watched him a lot tonight, and I saw a moment he had with Coach Beelan, where Beelan pulled him aside and really worked with him for a good 2 or 3 minutes straight, and that's what Marlo came out here to do, was work with who he's going to be with in college. Yeah. That was a good moment to see.
I mean, I can't tell you how many times I've watched Marlo this year. I have seen him at practice, at so many camps. I've seen so much film. But again, like Boss, man, I love his attitude. Always wanting to come, learn, and compete. You get better by more reps. Listen to your coaches that know what they're talking about. And again, I watched him, like Fletcher said, take some one-on-one time with Coach Beelan. He respects him. He listens to him. Marlo still has to work on, I think, his flexibility, his explosiveness, but he's a downhill linebacker. He'll fit perfectly on the inside here in the 3-4 scheme. You know, I like his potential too. He's got a lot of work to do on his flexibility and his quickness, but down the road could fit very well into the 3-4 scheme.
Trying to think of anyone else we missed, and I don't think we missed anyone of the commits.
No,
So I'll start with you, Chad. 30 seconds. Who was your best player in the camp?
I'd probably say John Theus. I mean, you know, the one-on-ones are always advantage to defensive linemen. He never lost a battle. I mean, he got after it. He competed. His brother committed to Georgia. I like the Dawg's chances down the road. And they're going to be getting, if they get him, whoever does, whether it be them, Florida, Florida State, getting a very good one.
I can't disagree with that. Everybody you talked to tonight.
Red hair, man.
It is, man.
Quit it.
Yeah, dude.
Quit it.
I got to give it to Theus, man.
When you don't lose, it's hard for you not to be the best person there, considering the you know, the way that the defense should win that battle more often than not. John Theus is going to play in the NFL. He's going to play in the NFL for a little bit of time. He's that body, is the legs. It's all there. And he's mean. I mean, sometimes last time, dude got pissed off at people and just drove them to the ground.
Into it with Jordan Jenkins night a few times. I mean, those guys went.
That's not surprising.
And a guy I want to mention, too, is maybe my maybe second guy. I mean, Justin Scott's up there too, but Anthony Chickalo had a very good night. Defensive end.
Right.
I think he drew a lot of attention from Mark Rick, Todd Grantham, that staff, Rodney Garner. He did not match up, at least when I saw it, with Theus. I'd love to see that matchup one-on-one. But Theus definitely number one, but Chickalo right behind him.
So, you know, you wrap the thing up. It seemed pretty successful, more talent than in the past, wouldn't you say?
I think it's probably the best one they've had. Then you talk about guys watching like Watts, Hunter, Isaiah Crowell, James Wilder. I mean, guys that were here. I mean, Jay Rome was here today. Malcolm Mitchell here today. I mean, talking about at one time, the guys they had on campus, Deion Bonner. You can't ask for much better, plus the guys in camp.